JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and to share the news with someone today. Now onto the news. Rifleman killing confrontation with the police. A man known as Rifleman was shot and killed Thursday morning during a confrontation with security forces in the community of Lilliput, St. James. Reports so far that the police were carrying out an operation at 6 a.m. in the community when the confrontation happened. According to a police source, Rifleman was a known violence producer who had been on the police's radar for some time. A pistol was taken from him following the incident, the source said. His death comes hours after two men suspected of shooting two cops on Tuesday during a robbery attempt at a supermarket were shot and killed by members of the security forces on Wednesday. One of the suspects was allegedly shot and killed during a shootout in Gopi's Lane in Salt Spring just after 4 p.m. A gun, bloody clothes and shoes, and coins believed stolen from the supermarket were reportedly found on the scene. Less than an hour later, a second man believed to be among the robbers was fatally shot when he challenged cops who were in an operation on Albion Lane. Another illegal gun was seized during that incident. According to sources, the police are now continuing several targeted operations in the parish where criminals robbed two supermarkets Tuesday night. Another gun bust. 30 guns and over 100 rounds of ammo seized at Kingston warehouse. A high-level police probe is underway to identify and apprehend those responsible for a shipment of 30 guns and over 100 rounds of ammunition to Jamaica, which were seized on Tuesday. According to the police, the seizure took place at a warehouse on Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston and was intercepted during security screenings in a joint operation involving the Jamaica Customs Agency under the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, FNID. The confiscated items are 24 pistols, 6 rifles, 32 magazines, and 102 rounds of ammunition. Senior Superintendent Samuel Blake, head of the division, stated that the police have intensified efforts with various stakeholders to disrupt the trafficking of weapons and illegal drugs in Jamaica. Every firearm seized is a victory for the JCF and Jamaica. We continue our relentless work to track down individuals seeking to undermine the JCF's violence reduction efforts, Blake said. We also continue to leverage our partnerships with international agencies to dismantle crime syndicates, he added. This is the second such siege in recent months. On January 17, members of the division, in collaboration with Jamaica Customs, seized 66 guns and 4,700 rounds of ammunition at Newport West in St. Andrew. Jamaican-American Davian Roberts was charged in connection with that find. 20-year-old arrested after stabbing death of father. A 20-year-old man has been arrested by police for the murder of his father, Jerry Neil Dixon, otherwise called OJ, of Goodwin Park Road, Kingston 4, was charged with murder following the stabbing death of his father, 53-year-old Sean Dixon, at his address, Price Lane, Kingston, on Saturday. Reports from the Kingston Central Police are that at about 12:25 p.m., Jerry Newell was armed with a knife, attacked his father while he was standing in his motor car at his home. He then allegedly used the knife to inflict several wounds to his upper body before escaping the area on foot. Sean Dixon was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Jerry Newell later turned himself into the police, where he was charged following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. A court date for him is being arranged. Kebbi says gunmen tried to hijack his car after shooting two cops. A taxi operator was parked on St. James Street in Montego Bay Wednesday night is counting himself lucky after all but one of the bullets gunmen aimed at his car missed their target. The man, whose identity will not be revealed for security reasons, said he was sitting outside a supermarket a few minutes after 9 p.m. when men armed with guns went inside. He had been inside a few minutes earlier and was adding credit to his phone. Them a rob a place, and the police catch up on them and they shoot toward the police them, he said. The cabby said the armed thugs then turned their attention to him. Them a try to get an escape vehicle and them choose mine. Them come to my vehicle and was trying to open the door, but me all is that my doors going to my car, he disclosed. They must have to open the door and start the vehicle and drive because them want to make a getaway. But me couldn't find the key at that point, and it seems that they couldn't bother, so they move off and fire a couple shots, he added. He said the men's faces were hidden behind ski masks. Most of the shots missed the car, but one went through the windscreen, said the cabbie. He said the bullet grazed his seat, went through a seat in the middle of his vehicle, and lodged in a back seat. I was calm throughout the whole thing. It's when I reached a police station and was given the statement. That was when we really feel nervous, he said. That's when me say, Blow wow, I couldn't do that while ago, you know, he said. While the cabby escaped the ordeal unscathed, 2 cops who tried to follow the robbery were shot and injured. Reports from the police show that members of the St. James Beat Officer Patrol Division intercepted an armed robbery at a supermarket. During the confrontation, at least 2 armed men fired shots from high-powered weapons and a handgun. The release said the injuries sustained by the 2 members of the JCF are not life-threatening. One of them shoulder mash up, one of them thigh bone splintered in several places, a police source said. Senton woman charged with stabbing partner to death. A Senton woman charged with the stabbing death of her partner in February was offered $250,000 bail when she appeared in the Brownstone Parish Court. She will return to court to answer to the charge on April 17, 2025. Reports are that on February 16, 2025, at about 6:50 p.m., 21-year-old Vanessa Gibson and the now deceased Wayne Reeves were involved in an altercation when Gibson used a knife and an ice pick to inflict wounds on the hands, upper body, and head of Reeves. He was later transported to the Alexandria Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The couple also shares a child. Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, who is in charge of police in the parish, noted that since the start of the year, 3 of the 9 murders committed in the parish have been due to domestic disputes. CCTV footage requests the first bail application for Mandeville licensed farm holder. Defense attorneys representing Patrick Thompson, the licensed farm holder, who is accused of killing 2 women and injuring 3 others last month, on Wednesday deferred his bail application as they requested to see CCTV footage recorded on bulb cameras of the incident. King's Counsel Peter Champagne and attorney Samoy Campbell are representing Thompson. When Thompson made his second court appearance in the Manchester Parish Court, before presiding Judge Monique Harrison, Champagne told the court that while the defense is grateful for full disclosure of false statements in the case, it would be foolhardy to proceed with the bail application based on the potential evidence. A request was then made for raw CCTV footage from the police's forensic unit of the February 23 incident. The clerk of the court then informed the court that it could take up to 3 weeks for the footage to be made available due to a backlog. Thompson, who was dressed in a purple t-shirt and jeans pants, seemed frustrated when the matter was stood down. When the court resumed, Champagne said he found the 3-week wait strange. Your Honor, I find it surprising that we're asking for the raw footage and we're being told 3 weeks, he said. Champagne also told the court that all the statements except one were favorable to the defense's case. He later told journalists outside the court that the defense wants to view the footage before applying for bail.
The bail application was adjourned until the 2nd of April, and the basis for that was that in the disclosure that was made to us, myself and Ms. Campbell, it revealed that there was some possibility of the incident being captured on CCTV, and in those circumstances we would want to have a look at that, because that will most certainly, if there is clarity in terms of any footage, direct the way forward in a very certain way. This does not mean that our instructions have changed. The position is that at the material time, our client acted in self-defense and was concerned about certain other issues. But again, I don't want it to be a case where we are seeking to say too much and appearing to be trying the case in public. In the circumstances, we are going to await the information and put ourselves again in a state of readiness for the bail application.
JTA finds Mark Golding's teacher retention proposals attractive. The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, has observed that the strategies outlined by opposition leader Mark Golding for home ownership for public sector workers is a step in the right direction to help to retain teachers. During his contribution to the 2025-2026 budget debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Golding outlined a slew of benefits he proposes to put in place for prospective homeowners and the public sector workers contributing to the National Housing Trust, NHT. He said teachers, nurses, police officers, and other public servants, and any individual contributing to the NHT will be able to own their homes. In response, Dr. Mark Smith, president of the JTA, said that there is need for solutions to improve the quality of life for his members.
And so we welcome the idea, and we look forward to hearing, of course, what other ideas the government and the opposition have as it relates to improving the quality of life. Because many Jamaicans want to stay. We love our country, and we want to continue to work within the confines of this beautiful island state, but it cannot be at a penalty. And from too many of us, we have to trade a decent quality of life in order to stay in Jamaica. And I think that a lot more can be done in terms of restructuring how it is that we spend public resources to ensure that we, in a strategic way, address many of the challenges we face within the sector. We are, of course, concerned because it would not be the first time that we have heard politicians make pronouncements, but when faced with the macroeconomic realities, the plans are significantly scaled on. So we are mindful, and this goes for both the JLP and the PNP. When they're in the opposition, the ideas always seem a lot more lofty than when they get into power. And that's a function of when they come to the table and realize the real constraints that they face. But it is good to see that he's thinking in a big way, and he's trying to tackle many of the big issues that we face. As I mentioned, housing remains one of the critical push factors that many teachers cite as forcing them to migrate in order to be able to find a pathway towards home ownership.
Spanish Town truck driver charged over alleged non-delivery of goods. 42-year-old Andrew Amos, a truck driver of Jacaranda, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, has been charged with theft over the alleged non-delivery of several items valued at just over $335,000 earlier this year. He has been charged with allowance as a servant following a series of incidents that occurred between January 28 and February 28. Reports from the Spanish Town police indicate that Amos, who was employed as a truck driver, was entrusted with the delivery of several items valued at $335,468.88. However, the goods were allegedly never delivered. When confronted about the missing items, Amos allegedly failed to provide a satisfactory explanation for their disappearance. A report was made to the police, leading to an investigation. Amos was arrested and charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney, a police statement said on Wednesday. PNP will not be allowed to part with Jamaica's rent money, says Holness. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who was making his contribution to the 2025-2026 budget debate in Parliament on Thursday, says the opposition People's National Party PNP will not be allowed to party with our rent money.
Madam Speaker, our net international reserves now stand at a record high of $5.5 billion, representing 29 weeks of goods and service imports. This provides Jamaica with a crucial buffer against external shocks. In the past, we lived in fear of global financial crises, natural disasters, or commodity price swings that could send our economy into turmoil. Today, we stand prepared and protected with reserves that give us the confidence and security to navigate the uncertainties of the global economy. When my administration took office in 2016, the NIR was less than half what it is today. We have increased the NIR by 131%. And we have done so despite facing the worst global health and economic crisis in 100 years. Jamaica today has the strongest economy since independence, and we will not allow the PNP to have a party with our rent money. Yes, we will not allow the PNP to party with our rent money as the Minister of Finance. Indeed, I have never heard a Minister of Finance make a more apt characterization that the NIR is literally your rent money. And we can't allow anybody to play with that.
JBNN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.